Hello, everyone. It is the Man United agenda. Forget this ticky-tacky stuff that's on the telly between these Milan clubs. Nobody gives a shizness about that. We have plenty to talk about, and it's going to involve them damn bleeding glaciers. Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to this Tuesday edition of the Man United agenda. Along with the usual suspects of Mr. B and OMONDI Juma, we have not returning to us. How are we doing, sir?
I'm doing very, very well, thank you very much. I think we're actually approaching a little bit of warm weather for once.
Warm weather?
Slowly. Mate, all right, I don't know about Ireland. It's been horrible, isn't it? It's just been 10 degrees, 12 degrees. Mind you, I'm near the coast, so I'm kind of feeling more. But it was not like this a year ago. A year ago was warmer.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's true.
But there you go.
Very true, very true. Mr. B and Monday, I know you're both just in the door like myself as well from work. Welcome as always. I suppose before we touch on the main subjects, just something that came out that caught my eye in the last hour. The media ping pong continues. Fabrizio Romano, while he was being interviewed by some other pod or whatever the hell he appears on, has now said that Enos are very confident that they will gain ownership of Manchester United. So the media circus continues. But we're not here to talk about Enos, Sir Jim, or any of that today. We're here to talk about Manchester United Football Club and simple day-to-day business, and also to talk about a very special achievement for a very special player this season, Mark Rashford. But let's kick it off with saying hello to some of our friends in the chat. Zoe Media House, we see you. Bart, we see you. Rushmano, good evening. Ed Mayhem, good evening. Emma K, good evening. We will be, of course, dipping into those comments later on, but please do continue to like, share, and subscribe. But today, we did see what looks like day-to-day business once again being affected by a long, drawn-out takeover process. Notch, I'm going to start with you. Today we heard that Manchester United Football Club cannot release its jersey for next season because there's still speculation over the key sponsor. Obviously, we have already developed exit plans to get away from the current Team Viewer sponsorship, but it is only when we have a replacement that they can be removed from their obligation. And with the uncertainty over who would be the owners, nobody really is prepared to stick their colours to a mast, drive their flagpole home, and actually pick a sponsor, which means Adidas, our shirt sponsor for however long that's left in that agreement, cannot do what they normally do and go, we're going to have this shirt, your new home shirt for next season, debuted in the last game of the home game of the season. Here you go, lads. What do you think the impact of Glazier skullduggery is on this?
We've seen it over and over again, haven't we? The Glazers, I think we know by now, verified even more so by the fact that the takeover is now taken since the announcement, 6 months? It's just dragged on. It just makes me wonder if because of the issues of this dragging on and on, as a result, has had this kind of domino effect in which other areas of the club can't be implemented the way normal business is run at the club, such as the sponsors. What else is it affecting? It must be just all over the shop. Where are we going to be in terms of actually being ready to conduct business? Now, I've got a feeling that the recruitment team are actually very busy at the moment of conducting business, but the problem is actually getting those deals over the line in terms of knowing how much finance we have, how much of the budget we have, what we can finalize the budget by the end of the window so that the Glazers or whoever's taken over, hopefully by then, can then show this to the stock market and say, here's our assets, because that's what they normally do. They go to the New York Stock Exchange. That's the reason why a few years ago they handed out contracts to Smalling, to Jones, to Young, because they needed to have, show numbers, and they were going, here you go, this is how we can satisfy the stock market, this is our assets, this is our value. Where is that all going to go over this period of the transfer window in the summer if we're still at the point right now of sorting out, being unable to sort out the businesses that we're making with things like the sponsors?
Rebel.
The Rebel's gone quiet.
Sorry, gentlemen. Rush has just made us aware of some big breaking news, so I'm going to have to canon my next question and come to that breaking news, and that is Mike Keegan has posted that Manchester United has been subjected to an 11th hour extraordinary take it or leave it bid by Sheikh Shazim and Qatar. This is the final offer and is a last-ditch effort to secure Manchester United Football Club. So, gentlemen, the aerial ping-pong of this has continued. Tell me, do you believe this?
Oh, God, Rebel. Every day there's something else. I mean, look, it's supposed to be what was that due diligence where they're not allowed to say something. I don't know what the word is they use. They signed that non-disclosure. Yeah, so they've signed that non-disclosure agreement, but we now know that he's made or he's gonna make an 11th hour bid. I mean, it's the soap opera continues. It's just typical American. They could have done everything in 20 minutes and they extend it to 2.5 hours. So it's just so typical. I mean, look, we know it's one of two. We all know who we prefer just because we know by some magical reason it's been disclosed that they're going to keep the Glazers in and blah, blah, blah. So there's so much stuff going on. It's just going on and on and on. Us talking about it can't help change the situation. There's going to be disappointed people whichever way it goes. That's just life. It's just what happens. But the fact that now, I mean, Rebel, you were saying normally we wear the home kit the last game of the season. It makes sense. So we're already a month behind. I mean, surely this is something that should have been sorted out already. To be fair, the fact that they're selling the club surely doesn't mean that they forgot that they needed a shirt sponsor. It's just showing the negligence and our club, man, our club on the pitch. We're doing bits eventually. It's just never it. It's so tiring, frustrating. Yeah,
it's really, really taxing over and over, day after day, having to compute all of this every day. There's a dragging in story, and there's another thing, and nothing seems to get finalized. It's horrible, isn't it? 18 years of this now.
It's dragging on. I mean, it's dragging on, but I'm just vexed now. You're talking about the kits. As you can see, and I've got it on display. I've got my home and away kit for this season, and now they talk about a next kit for next season. And I had to go and seek out Tony again, but I didn't buy it from Blazers. I seek it out from my mate Tony. He got them. Good deal, Tony. I'm going to give you a bit of plug here. If you want some shirts, come to see me. I'll set up Tony, and Tony will look after me. But you assume that kits would be pre-ordered. Kids would be saying, "Oh, I want my new kit for the next season now." People all around the world would be demanding a new kit, and they'd be desired. Like Harry Maguire will definitely be modelling it right now for next season. That sort of thing, which is not going to happen, I don't think. But it's another chapter, isn't it? It's like a Rocky fight, another round where Rocky's getting battered, and then suddenly he comes back. And just as we're doing a show, we're hearing news, and Rebel's usually on the ball, but like someone in the comments has jumped in and said, "Oh no, actually, there's a 11th hour bid from Qataris and things." So I don't know what's going on, boy, but please let it end. As like Mr. B was saying, let's get this sorted. Let's get our club sorted, because the one area that we are performing on and are doing well is on the pitch, I believe, and with what we've got. suspensions, injuries we've had all season. We've taken a whooping here and there, but we've learned our lesson, and we're in top 4. We've got opportunity. So we're delivering on the pitch to say, right, Champions League football, this is what we're going to deliver. What's happening with the ownership? We've done our job. What are you going to do? And I think it's a great way to sort of say, this is, serve up. Here's our Champions League football. We've done what we had to do. What are you going to do now? You're going to sort out the stadium. You're going to sort out the training ground. You're going to provide some funds. You're going to sort out the youths and all that kind of thing. Come on, man. Let's deliver. Because the football side of things, I'm sure. Well, let me say this, not to embarrass you, Notch, but I said before the game, you happy with the game? And Notch is umming and ahhing. Even though we're in top 4, Galactic came off the bench and performed. Notch is shrewd out here. I don't know what's going on with him. But you need to explain yourself, young man.
Oh, being into football for 45 years, you kind of sometimes you can kind of, just flake you out a little bit and just like, oh God, yeah, another week of this. I do celebrate the wins, don't worry.
But
I'm kind of resigned to the fact that we've now had a decade since Sir Alex, and the impact of how the Glazers have run the club in terms of how they've organised other facets of the club, such as the recruitment side of it. We've seen how badly that's gone wrong. So it's got to the point where I'm resigned to think, well, until they're gone, it's just going to keep on like this, and we can bring people in, such as a good, really, really good manager, and his own coaching staff, and get that side of it sorted as best as he can with the resources he's got. But then we need to look at the recruitment team and the financial side of the team, and just go, well, get these deals over the line, because we got the idea of having a new manager in to improve on the success or lack of success of the previous one, is to keep build a new squad and keep improving it. That's always the way, if you want a successful club. That can only happen if things are finely tuned on the recruitment side.
Speaking of that, Notch, I heard rumours today that due diligence has been done by multiple parties that are currently within striking range of securing a deal with the Glazers, and that they've been negotiating from a Ten Hag approved list with clubs to kind of get a jump on things. Is that something that is very un-Manchester United like of recent years under the Glazers, and that we could possibly get business done early?
I think it's probably because Ten Hag and Arnold and Murto, and also, is it O'Brien, one of the other guys? There's another couple of people involved. O'Brien is the guy that came in. He's kind of technically the sporting director at the moment. And also I've forgotten his name, but the head of the coach of the scouting staff supposedly has had 2 more names in mind since his appointment, something like 2 years ago, to bring in, and that still hasn't happened. What the hell? If anyone read the Athletic article this week over what's been exposed recently about behind the scenes at the club, I was just my jaw's on the floor. I'm like, goodness me, we still have issues with arranging where we actually want to take the club behind the scenes. So as far as I'm concerned, Ten Hag is doing the best he can with just as difficult a situation as people have had before. But I think things were worse before, when we had Woodward and we had Judge. So I think there are little things in place, as you kind of mentioned, Rebel. So maybe that's an indication that we are kind of moving in the right direction. Time will tell whether it's actually moving quick enough.
Very good. Now, Monday, we have kind of strayed away, and it has caused much comment in the comments. So do you want to give us a little bit of a flavour? Okay,
you did introduce most of the heads in the house. So I want to big up Rush Marno as well, because he pops in now and then, and he's very rare we see him on the show. He's obviously mentioned here that the bid's been lodged already. We've gone over that. Qatari boys are back. Thanks, Rush Marno. Big up to Bart. He's saying FSG would be a good sponsor for United shirt. Rolling his eyes. Take it or leave it. Offer from Qatari. Improved offer. update as you speak, and obviously it's come from Mike Keegan. This is great stuff, guys. Jim Mackey saying at the stage, the biggest problem will be decisions made in haste, recruitment, sponsorship, and development, etc. So we need to haste makes waste, as they say. Brian Casey, how you doing, bro? He says, evening, lads. It's going to take an extraordinary bid from Sheikh to get the Glazers to release their grip on the club. Pure greed, he says. Emma's in the house. She says, if they agree a deal without it being sold, would be fine by me then? Question mark. Robbie Norman, all the way from Ireland. He's saying, Keegan from Mel said, new bid submitted this evening by Qatar. Sick of it, he's saying here. Michael Hill is in the house. How you doing, Michael? I think they've done due diligence, which is the key word today. I've heard that mentioned 3-4 times already by the panelists on both parties already. When the tight bees do decide to sell, bees, all right. I thought we talking about Mr. B. I know Mr. B, I'm not. Yeah,
for a second.
Yeah. When the tight bees do decide to sell it, could be quicker than you think. Jim Mack again is really chipping in. He's saying, when we sell Maguire, how do you guys think he'll be received when he returns to Old Trafford with his new club? I personally being different, but I'm sure some will have stronger opinions. You know what I think.
I'm under a cheer him.
Glazers have destroyed this great club. And Vincent's in the house. He's saying Phil Jones will be free. Phil Jones and Axel will be free agents. That's Axel Tunzabi. And we'll say hi to Gaming with Samin. He says Qatar is best, number one. Yes, I like that. Zoe Media House, I'm going to drop you in as the last one here. She says, I think there's a mystery bidder that the media don't know about or anyone. Why is it taking so long? Curious.
Do you know though, this has a feeling like a Tin Lizzy song that I used to be singing in the shower. Guess who just got back today? Them Wild boys that have been away. I know there's a lot of people in the chat that are kind of going, what lyrics are they? Who sang them?
And who the hell is Finn Bloody Lizzy? Yeah, exactly, Ribble.
But gentlemen, we did get off kilter, but it was kind of linked to what we were talking about as well, and that is obviously skullduggery and Glazer negligence in the Manchester United camp in terms of their so-called perceived business skills that I use extreme inverted commas with. But I suppose another demonstration of that is that we've been making appointments to key strategic roles, and let's call a spade over the next 12 months. Whoever it is, whether it's Qatar or whether it's Jim or and another, the rock outside of Mr. B's house that is sunning himself in the garden, they're going to review every single dang position at the club. And as much as we think he's untouchable as fans and we love our ball genius, they're going to look at whether they believe in the man as well. And they're going to make appointments that are best suited for them, regardless of what we as fans think. Now, I think both main protagonists have said that Ten Hag is their guy, but I'm just using it as an example that they would be reviewing everybody. So, what do you think the logic of making some appointments that they have done was? Was it jobs for the boys so that they get a cash payout from early termination?
Bloody hell, Ripple.
Over to you, Notch. You should tackle this one.
In terms of which boys, in terms of the players, and their decisions and what contracts they want to extend or sign, do you mean? Or
well, let's use all of the above. Some of the staff appointments that we made in the last 6 months, like there were some eyebrow raising ones where you're kind of going, who?
Yeah, I think that might be more down to Richard Arnold than it is to the Glazers. I think it's the football side of the club has probably been left to the devices of Glazer and Murto, so we're kind of at their mercy of how everything is run. And I still think we need to give a little bit more time to judge how whether their infrastructure is actually getting more results than it was under Woodward and Judge. It's a difficult one when you don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes. But I think there has been some signs of positivity. I think the fact that even though for some it might be obvious, something that should have been done a long time ago, but much as I loved Axel Twanzebe, and it's just very sad to see how his career has gone because he had so much promise. But I think it is the end of the road. I think it's got to the point where he's had so little football. He's just not going to make that next step up to really have an impact on the first team. So I think it's sad to see him go. Phil Jones, as we all know, I think I'm expecting Phil Jones to be appointed manager and Ten Hag to be sacked by the way he stayed at the club. It was time he went a long time ago, but I also think as far as I know, without being 100% certain, he can't shake off a particular injury, and it was a case of nobody else was going to buy him. So the fact that he has stuck around, I don't think is 100% simply down to any kind of selfishness on his part. But I think the fact that the club have made the decision that these two are going to go now is a possible positive step. And that these are maybe decisions by Ten Hag, and who wants to actually free up space in the squad for people that can actually actually have an effect on it. I think the rumours, if they are true, about possibly doing a deal with Rabiot, might be an indication that we might be not. This might be the last few games for Sabitzer. Actually, he's injured as well, isn't he? He's supposed to miss the rest of the season.
I'm saying that yesterday.
I've got a feeling that might be the end of him because we need to have quality and fitness in our midfield. Whether Rabiot is actually the answer for that, maybe as understudy and squad, then fair enough. So there's little signs here and there that maybe we are pushing in a direction that we've needed to go for so long, but time will tell still. It's just impossible to gauge it when the ownership is still rambling on and on.
Just another bit of breaking news, sorry. Ahmed Diallo is currently involved in a championship playoff semi-final, and
Luton scored again.
Luton are 2-0 up.
Oh.
Wow. Luton Town.
Get it back next season.
Don't want Luton in the Prem. Have you seen the state of their stadium?
It's Kenilworth Road, isn't it? Remember when they were in the first division for years?
Yeah, it hasn't changed.
Brothers, Ricky Hill, I know Ricky Hill.
It probably hasn't changed from when Ricky Hill used to play.
Yeah. Great. I mean, amazing to see how they're performing right now, But it's good. I'm going to try and tackle your question here, Rebel. You know me, I'm not very business savvy. But what I do notice, I observe a lot of stuff, and where my company, I'm not going to name who they are, but what they do, high up, they bring in these guys, come in, new director. Okay, he stays for a couple of years, bring these new ideas, bring these new contracts, change whole new systems, And I realize actually, and then he's gone, and we're left with these new systems we didn't need and everything else. And then he brings his friends in. So they got friends in high places, and they bring, all right, mate, yeah, do you want to come and take over this company? I'm going to bring you in. I'll bring your contract in. You give me a cut, kind of thing. Things we don't even know about. That's what I end up thinking about when I get my wage back in and realize, hold on a minute, what's going on here with these guys? I've been saying at Man United, we've had for a long time, had guys running the club, bringing in them. It's a mates thing, sorting each other out. Yeah, nudge, yeah, I'll get you a seat. I'll bring in this guy. We're going to get these new cleaning company, and it could be your guys, that sort of thing. I think that's what goes on in big business. I might be wrong, but that's just my naive observations, and as regards to the playing side of things, we haven't bought well over the last 10, 15 years. We just thought, right, we're Man United, we buy this guy, he's hot, or this guy's available, or whatever. That needs to be sorted out as well. So all throughout the club, but it's promising, because since Ralph Rangnick came in, he sort of came in and cleansed the club a little bit by exposing a bit of stuff and talking harshly about certain people, and we had a bit of a clear out. And hopefully that sort of thing continues, because like Notch is saying, we can only speculate. We don't really know what's going on. But in all big business, if it's not run correctly, then these guys have not really got the interest of the performance of the club and the football side of things, which the fans want to see. We want success, and that's what we demand. So to get that, it's not just about on the pitch. It has to be in all areas of the club.
Absolutely. And Notch, as you rightly pointed out, Phil Jones has been stealing a living for the last 12 months at the very least, because as we discussed a few times on this channel, reports are out that he has never made it through a full Eric Ten Hag training session, and it looks like unfortunately his body has broken down. Now he made apparently some unadvisable social media content about him as he reflects on his career and about keyboard warriors. But I suppose before we go on to a moment of joy for one of our players, one of our youth prospects, Ethan Galbraith, has penned an emotional farewell to Manchester United Football Club. Obviously, they don't see a future for him at the club, so we wish him well with his future endeavours. But let's talk Rashford. But before we do that, there's a real Slim Shady of comments after coming through again, so maybe we should hit a few more.
Why are you laughing, Mr. B? Oh, Rebel.
Oh, Rebel. I tell you, Rebel.
I just want to big up Brush. Brush, let me say this. Brush has been a big supporter of our channel for a long time, and he doesn't like the credit, but I'm going to give it to you every single time I see your face appear or your logo, Brush. Thank you so much for boosting us up and plugging us and doing things on the, behind the scenes that not many people know about. So big up to Brush. Big up to Ed Mayhem, the midfield maestro, who helped us lose to Cop TV. So when we're selecting the next team, Ed, you might be on the bench. I don't know. We'll see about it. They said 100% Emma is agreeing with Emma. I don't know what Emma's saying, but we will find out soon enough. Rushman is saying here, getting old United players involved in the club. It's badly needed again. So they're more trustworthy, I imagine. That's what he's going with that. 18 in the chat from Solo. He said, give us a like if you don't mind. I want to say hi to Man United. He's saying, good evening, everyone. I'm convinced aliens are watching us as I've seen some weird bright lights in the sky last night. I don't know where you are, but maybe look out your window, guys. Something could be happening. Jim Mack saying here, for sure, Eric Ten Hag will put a few unknowns out of the hat. For left field signings. Not sure about that. And obviously, we've been updated about Luton Town. They could be they're performing really well against Sunderland right now. And obviously, Bart saying here with Ethan Gabrath, he's saying was a decent player for the youth team. He has a great future for Northern Ireland, and he has a good engine on him too. I mean, in football works with CVs, doesn't it? I mean, they say, what have you done? Who have you played for? And if you come and say, I played for Man United, or I've been at Man United for so long, he's going to have a good start to his future. So good luck to him.
Actually, as you mentioned comments, I just seen a mention from Bart about one Edwin van der Sar. Now, I want to gauge some opinion from the comments and from the panel. There's been reports of some turbulent protesting around the camp of Ajax at the moment. Is there a moment, you think, now to strike while the iron is hot, to bring in Edwin in some capacity to work as an intermediary between whoever the new owners dictate as the director of football and Eric Ten Hag?
No. Why is he gonna do a temporary job? He's gonna leave a job he's guaranteed for however long he wants it, and he's gonna become an intermediate in the mess that we're in at the moment. Yeah, I don't think it makes any sense. If they're gonna give him the job, and give it to him straight. Don't give him a part-time job.
I think I need to clarify. He'd be the layer of management in between director of football and Eric Ten Hag.
So okay then, fair enough. My question for you then, Rebel, is if we can't even sort out our sponsor, how the hell are we going to sort that out? We don't even know who's coming to buy him. So they might say yes, they'll take him, and then whoever comes in says no, they want to bring their own man in. Some decisions just can't be made.
Very good. And the other actually interesting one is a Qatari purchase of Manchester United apparently could have unexpected benefits for Tottenham in that Sir Jim could dip his toe in the water per Mark Ogden of the Athletic. So the ticky-tack owner roulette continues in the media, but let's get down to business and talk about Rashford Notch. He's had an incredible season, has been bearing the burden of goal scorer in chief for Manchester United Football Club, and is now nominated for Player of the Year. Was it Writers Player of the Year? Sorry, or was it Players Player of the Year? I can't remember which, but it's been a while.
Yeah. No, it's the PFA Fans Player of the Year, isn't it? So it's a vote, presumably by fans. What I find, I mean, first of all, congratulations to Rashford. I'm glad that he's nominated. I think he is deserving of it. I do. If I had to be blunt, I'd say that my player of the season at United I would lean more towards Martinez because of his consistency, but not. There's a few very, very worthy nominations for Player of the Year at United this season. So it's great to see Rashford in there. I'm just wondering about this, the way because he's nominated alongside 6 other players, and they're all worthy of a place in there as well. But how were they nominated in the first place? Were they nominated by a panel of experts at the PFA, or how did they account to come to these 7 specific players? Because then, to me, if it's something like that, then to me it's not really a fan's vote, because you're basically simply given a short list of here's the 7, pick out of them. Because I've seen a lot of arguments online for why Mohamed Salah is not on the list, why Martinelli's not on the list, why Gundogan is not on the list. So I can understand some frustration here, or some people not sure what's going on. But at the same time, the 7 that have been picked, fantastic for them. But to me, if it was going to be a proper fans' choice of player of the season, I would have done it in so that every single professional player in the Premier League was laid out on a database where fans could actually maybe pick 3 players from, out of the whole league that they think deserve it. And then after all of the results of that are totted up, then the PFA can lay out, well, here are the nominations based on the most popular choices. Now let's pick a winner out of these for me. But to all the people that have been nominated, fantastic. And I'm really, really pleased for Rashford.
Can I chip in there? I think as a player, you want to be voted the player's player of the year, because by your fellow professionals, you want them to say, yeah, I played against this guy and I'm qualified to talk on him. He's the man. He's the man this year. He's done the business. The Football Writers Award, I don't fancy that too much, because you can get paid off. I mean, these writers, are they really qualified to say who's who or what they're watching? So I think Rashford, if he really wants to win an award, it would be the Players' Player of the Year. And I think most professional players do say that officially. And that's the one for me. But you're talking about this fans' player of
PFA, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, as Notch is saying now, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know how it works. I would like to know now. I'm going to go and investigate after this to find out how it does work, because otherwise, someone like Bournemouth, if there's someone performing really well at Bournemouth and they haven't got many fans, they might not get a shout. It's done by Man United clearly have got most fans in the UK, I imagine, and all these other big clubs, so they're likely to get a push out there. And not just that, if you're a Bournemouth fan, look, we were crying this season. Have you noticed, guys? I've been crying when we get in 3 o'clock games. How come we're not being televised? We're insulted.
We're mid-table team.
Like, what do you mean we're not televised? We can't find our game on TV anywhere. And I think, hold on a minute. How does Bournemouth feel? How does Southampton feel every week? So it's and back page news as well. It's all Man United. We get spoiled, I think, sometimes by having all this access to the club and games on TV every week. So I think it has to be fair with this award for Rashford. Fans, obviously, we've been watching games of football, and it's always Man United on TV, like you say. But he has performed well. But he definitely, for me, he's not Player of the Year. Maybe in Man United could get the award, but not in.
Who would you give it to?
There's people at Man City that I don't want to mention who are breaking.
Well, look, he's on the look. Haaland's on the list. De Bruyne's on the list. Odegaard's on the list. Saka's on the list, and obviously Harry Kane's on the list. So he's in good company. To be fair, he is actually good. He's actually in good company. Say, you can't disagree with Odegaard being his numbers. Obviously, robot boy over there. De Bruyne has carried on. Saka has come on leaps and bounds this season, and Rashford's been exceptional. So, out of that list, I think he does deserve to be on it. But I can't see him winning it. To be fair,
just Mr. B, I want to because your brother's a Liverpool fan, and you know what these Scousers are like. I heard they said, in Salah's worst season, he's got about roughly the same data stats as Rashford, who's playing his best season. I mean, we're hearing things like that.
I have no problem with that, to be fair, but Liverpool are a better team anyway, so I'm glad that they're moaning. I want them to keep on moaning, and then on Thursday nights next season, I want them to still be bloody moaning.
Can I just say, I don't know about you, but 3 o'clock kick-offs no problem across here in the good
All
old
right.
state of Ireland,
All right.
where we don't have a watershed. But gentlemen, before we wrap up, obviously there will be more caper with Manchester United and takeovers. There's a couple of games to seal top 4, so I'm going to go around the room. Say, when do you expect that we'll finally have this Karaji done and dusted, and do we get enough to get top 4 in the remaining games?
I think we just about will, although it's going to be incredibly nail biting. Because if you look at it, they are a point behind United on the same games played.
We've got a game in hand.
We've got a game in hand. Okay, we can't afford to even to drop points in more than one game. So yeah, if we won that game in hand, we're 4 ahead. So yeah, we can afford to lose one game, but if we draw 2 and win 1 of our last 3 games, and Liverpool win theirs, it's still not enough. So it's going to be twitching the arse, as LVG said. Yeah, it's squeaky bum time, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not looking forward to these 3 games, to be honest. Never mind the cup final. Then that's the thing. That's what is cooking my head so much. It's like we should be so looking forward to this cup final, and yet we seem so pessimistic about the prospect of facing Manchester City right now. And at the same time, we've got Liverpool now coming up our backside. So it's like, oh, goodness me. But I do think we will just about hang on. I think there is a possibility Liverpool will not win. We'll draw one of the games and it'll be enough for us.
Yeah, I don't know what you think, Rebel. I want to hear your view as well, and be decisive with it, not sit on the fence. But I think I was questioning it, but I listened to the manager's press conference the other day, and he said we are in control of the situation. And he said our home form is good. He said when we play, he said the other day we've had a few days to prepare for the game. And when that happens on the training pitch, sorry, I'm getting bitten here. When it happens on the training pitch, we seem to perform. When it's game in, game out, maybe fatigue sets in, that kind of thing. We've had Garnacho come back in the side, that lifts the side. Even though not just saying he wasn't really inspired by the win at the weekend, I think it was massive for a number of reasons. Gives you confidence with that goal at the end. We sort of controlled the game. We've done okay. And I think with the games coming up, we got to treat them as cup finals. And I've heard some Man City fans talking recently about, they were asked the question, what would you want, to win the European Champions League and lose the FA Cup, or win the FA Cup and lose the Champions League? And they said, we don't want to lose to Man United. And I'm thinking, wow, you haven't even won a Champions League, but you don't want to lose to Man United. So it just shows me, I'm not in Manchester, but shows you just how big this game is coming up. So before we get there, let's make sure we get top 4 and show our strength and mettle by going in there and performing well. Because I just feel that we're getting better and better and better with every day of training, every performance. That we're showing little tweaks of signs that we are improving as a side. And I think this is a good test because it keeps us on our toes. Unlike these mid-table sides where they've got nothing to play for, we got something to play for. We cannot allow Liverpool to take us over and call us bottle jobs, and we cannot allow Man City to beat us in the cup final and win the treble. So come on, United.
I do need to jump in just briefly because this just was posted by Mr. Blue Chip himself.
Here we go.
Sheikh Jazim has now increased his bid. As always, it's for 100% of Manchester United Football Club. Will clear all the debts and include a separate fund directed solely at the club and community. Sources guarantee this is a significant increase over the initial proposal, and it was Rush Mano that drew my attention to this taking place. So, gentlemen, if Mr. It has to be after happening is tweeting about it, is it fairly credible?
I'm not. You know,
I'm not
Romano's
yeah.
he's the ultimate tapping merchant, but I think there's a long way to go. I think there's a long way to go, Rebel. We started the show with it, and look, we started the show talking about EastEnders and the music, and now we're gonna end with the doop 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 again. Now when you've dropped another one in there, Rebel.
Yeah.
But where were Mr. B? I think were we on to you with the top four?
I was confident after Saturday. There's another twist in this season. There's something else is gonna come, and I just hope it's not us. I just hope that we're not the ones. I'm not 100%. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna say to you, I'm not 100%.
True. I do want to hit a few more comments just before we wrap up. I want to say hello to Zoe, who's saying, remember Fab is a Sky Sports employee. Uncle Dubas is saying it's still 500 mil short of Sir Jim, according to his sources. Viking Red is saying, Qatar, oh yes, baby, in his best Austin Powers accent. UK Strange is sick of this Qatari fella, will he ever pick off? Andrew Williams is saying, I don't care who buys club, not a single person here knows who is more competent. Rushmano's talking about Bellingham and City being a plastic club. And
Lovely.
And Viking Red is saying, Scousers will riot if Qatar buys Manchester United. These comments are popping off the screen. But in my own viewpoint, I think Bournemouth are on the beach. So there should probably be 3 points available there. Fulham may not give a Continentals in the last game of the season because they'll probably be thinking about their Holliers. So if you're to get 3 points from both those and a point of struggling Chelsea in their back garden.
If you say the struggling Chelsea, let me tell you what's going to happen with Chelsea. They are going to announce Pochettino the week that before we've got Chelsea. I'm convinced.
It's announced.
I'm convinced. There you go. See, it's going to be official. He's going to be on the pitch with his shirt, and there's going to be some big manager. I'm telling you, Chelsea's
New manager bounce before he turns up.
Oh, please. Oh my God. Why am I so nervous?
I think that is going to be the most nervous game, isn't it? It's like,
yeah,
they lost to everybody. They're 12th.
Yes,
and they're going to get something out of our game.
Oh,
no,
God.
just imagine it.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
So, gentlemen, we have been going for 40 odd minutes. We had our show gazumped by Glazernomics once again, but I want to thank Mr. B and OMONDI as always, but Notch, let's get you up on that big screen and let people know where they can find you.
I'm on YouTube as Santa Notch. You'll sometimes find me chatting crap in the chat at Stretford Paddock videos, or I'm usually found on the beginning of the watchalongs that they do, having submitted a very cringeworthy video, predicting games and getting them right. I predicted the 2-0 for the weekend, by the way. I'm on Instagram as well as Santa Notch if you want to find me there.
Absolutely. And Notch, I did have a comment earlier on. They're saying, what's the point in the United agenda getting their own Santa Claus on the channel when we can't make our dreams come true? But
it's a lot of chimneys for me to visit. You do know that.
But gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. We will be back tomorrow, I believe at the earlier time of 8 bells, with some very special guests and possibly OMONDI Juma taking that host chair and regaling you with the news of the day. So stay with us tomorrow.